If October 7th was this horrible event like they say it is, why do they have to lie about it? People still say, oh, there was 1,200,000 that was murdered by Hamas. That has long since been debunked. We already know that the IDF murdered countless of their own people, firing Apache helicopters and blowing up Israeli citizens.
Yeah,
we know this, and we know that there is no evidence that there was any mass sexual violence in October 7th. I debunked that thousands of times. Like, it doesn't even inherently make sense. And I know you've seen all the screeching from I don't got time to show you guys, from Tom Cotton, like all these diehard Zionist politicians losing their fucking mind. Yep. Marco Rubio losing his mind. So what's your reaction to this? Any commentary regarding Israel's action in Gaza and France's reaction to it?
Well, I mean, just this tweet from Netanyahu alone, this is the narrative from Israel. It's been this way. He's still using verbiage like in the wake of October 7th. Like, how dare he do this at this point in time? Like, okay, so you've had this ability to manipulate the West and particularly the citizens, this manufactured consent that there needs to be some sort of diabolical. Well, I guess it's for justice, right? You have to get Hamas. It's always get Hamas. But we've known the whole time that it's about a security state. Israel, in no way, shape, or form, ever is going to allow Palestine to exist as a state, because that will compromise their security. And what is their security? Their security is the ability to control these other people and prevent them from having any sort of military, any sort of recognized, state, the things that come with having a state. So that was never on the table. For Macron to do this now, it is interesting timing. He's obviously right to do this now. I question the timing on it, just because why didn't you do this a year ago? Why didn't you do this 2 years ago? So here we are. Like you said, the pushback from the Zionists is pretty insane. Like tweet after tweet coming from just condemning Macron, condemn. And it's just like, look, if you want to be honest as a Zionist, if you want to be honest about what your intentions really are, and that is to never give Palestine its own recognized state, and you want to get rid of Hamas, which means get rid of all of them, just be honest about that. Don't pretend that you're trying to work out a deal. But here we are, and at least you got to commend Macron for doing this, even though the timing is very interesting on that part of it.
Yeah, I need to read the specifics, but I was reading a broad overview of what the French plans call for, and there's something else that we should be extremely suspicious of, because France has conditions. And like, we support a Palestinian state with conditions. Like, they already know they're gonna say stuff like, we support Palestinian state, but Hamas must be evacuated. Which, once again, I would oppose that. It's not your job to say that. That's what they're already leaning towards, and that's the liberal Zionist two-state solution plan. You guys know that, right? Like, whenever you guys hear Bernie Sanders say stuff like, I support a two-state solution, you know that motherfucker wants to get rid of Hamas, right? That's all those resolutions say. That, hey, we support Palestinian state as long as Hamas put down their arms and we have a fucking puppet government. I don't support that, guys. I understand why Palestinians concede to that, but the correct position that we should have as allies is a one-state solution where everyone has equal rights under the law. But Matt, I think you want to chime in. Feel free if you want to.
Oh yeah, no, this Hamas excuse is it's exactly, these are the liberal side. Like, Bernie's the best we got. He's the radical lefty that still says Israel has a right to defend itself. AOC, Israel has a right to defend itself. I'm going to continue to fund a genocide. I mean, this is the radical side of things, and we know that's not radical. That is part of the establishment. That's part of the Zionist mentality, and it's only pretending to be on the side of the people, which we take the side of humanitarian. By the way, guys, it's not hard to get this right when you're not part of the tribe, when you're not part of your cult. It's easy to call this stuff right because we take the side of human beings. We take the side of humanity. And yes, of course you have a right to defend yourself. If you're in a place that you're being illegally occupied and there's an apartheid state, you have a right to defend yourself. So no, we don't condemn Hamas. We give the Palestinians a right to stand up for basic human rights, which a lot of the rest of the world can see. We're in the minority is the West right now. The minority are the Zionists that they're just extra loud. So we have to hear them every day. But that's not how the rest of the world overall is seeing this. So Macron is doing the right thing. Again, interesting timing that he's doing it now.
Yeah, and I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life dragging people to my position. Like it's crazy to see that. You guys know I've been covering this ever since I started as a citizen journalist, way before October 7th. My infamous grilling of Marianne Williamson over the two-state solution, that was way before October 7th. Remember, a lot of people were confused, like, what? Why are you grilling Marianne Williamson because she said Israel has the right to defend itself? Now that's like, duh. You know what I mean? That's duh to people now. You can't say that. So now that people acknowledge that, I'm like, hey, yo, all right, let me go further and continue to push over to windows. Because now my position is that everyone who served the IDF should be tried. Yeah. Because like in this hypothetical, I see everyone in my comments. I'm only saying this because you guys provoking me. Because look, Zionists don't belong in the Middle East. I don't believe that these people who posed in teenage women's underwear and blew up residential homes, who torture people and rape them to death, I don't think they should be reintroduced to society. I'm sorry I'm a radical for saying that. I'm sorry if I'm so radical I don't believe people who rape Palestinian men to death should be reintroduced to any society. So I know people are not on my side on that yet, but I promise you I can make the argument. I will continue to make this argument for the rest of my life because genocide don't have any statute of limitation. But go ahead, man. I don't even want to chime in.
Oh, no. I'm saying, like, we make the comparison to Nazi Germany and we say, okay, so how is this behavior any different? Not to mention, I'll go further. I'll go with you, Nick, on this. I'll say at least the Nazis knew that it would be a bad look. If not that they had social media at the time, but they knew it'd be a bad look if they announced it to the world, gloated, showed everybody how horrible they were. They kind of try to keep it a little down.
Yeah, to that point, man, a lot of people forget that people didn't learn about the crimes that Germany committed literally to like years later. A lot of people forget that it wasn't until years afterward people were like, holy shit, what? So Germany did a better job concealing and they had a better PR plan in Israel. They're like, we don't give a fuck. We're gonna do everything and we're gonna live stream it. But go ahead, Matt. That's a great.
But I think that is what comes with the territory when you have educated your base, whatever this Zionist base is, and it goes beyond Israelis. It goes into, we talk about Christian Zionists, we talk about all the different types of Zionists, which is let's be absolutely clear, Nick, we're talking about a mindset. This is not against a race or a culture or any sort of lineage. This is against a mindset. And you have a choice when you wake up every morning. We all have the same choice. What type of mindset are you going to have today? Oh, I think today I'm going to behave like a Nazi. I'm going to behave like I have a superiority complex. I'm also a victim. And so, look, you make that choice. So therefore, we have a right to criticize that, not just criticize the choice. We have a right to condemn that choice. And it's your call if you want to wake up tomorrow and change that mindset and go, you know what? Maybe I'll stop being a superior complex psychopath that wants to look down on every other person and give myself a free pass to do anything I want and gloat about it on social media when I murder and rape and destroy and starve to death people. And I'm gonna maybe that's the wrong mindset. I'm going to back off of that and no longer be a Zionist. So when we know that and we understand that it is a choice, this is not against a race or a culture or a bloodline. This is against a mindset and it needs to be stopped. I'm with you 100%, Nick. And we gotta call it out. We got to be as loud about it as possible.
Yeah, I'm sorry to be extremely anti-Semitic right now, but I don't think you guys have a right to starve children to death. I apologize for that gross. I know ADL about to write an article right now for me saying that. Now let's deconstruct this tweet. I never actually finished reading it, but now I have Matt here with me. Let's see how much of this content we can get through today. I appreciate you guys for watching me. Please like, share. I'm live Monday, Wednesday, Friday at this same time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Nigga Night Season 3. We strongly condemn President Macron's decision to recognize the Palestinian state next to Tel Aviv in the wake of the October 7th massacre. Such a move rewards terror. That's hope, because what did I just tell you guys? I told you guys that October 7th, and it will be studied as an extremely successful act of liberation and resistance. Because before October 7th, Palestinian statehood was dead. After October 7th, Palestinian statehood is on the table. Now, so this is Benjamin Netanyahu complaining about his L, essentially.
Yeah.
I don't like the way he phrases it is wrong, obviously, because it's not terror. He said it rewards terror. It's not terror. October 7th is a legal military operation. You don't have a legal right to armed resistance until you win. You guys think that right only applies if you lose? Just because October 7th was successful does not mean it's terrorism. It was a successful military operation. Go ahead, man. I know you want to chime in. Feel free, brother.
No, you're talking about the language. That is absolutely deliberate. And we know about the mindset of Netanyahu and the Zionist mindset and the way they've been able to convince our elected leaders in Washington. Every time he comes and gets the red carpet treatment, he is convinced us that there is a winning element to if you all you have to do is win. So I think you nailed it with that. So we can call the loser whatever we want. People like winners. I think there's actually a clip of him saying this recently, that people always, they side with winners. So it's not about right and wrong. It's never been about right and wrong. It's about how do we win this? And then once you learn that you can cheat your way through a win, then that's also applied as well. Lie, steal, cheat, whatever you got to do to win. Because as Netanyahu says himself, people like winners. Again, it's not about right and wrong. It's not about, being so history will decide this based on the winner, according to Netanyahu. But that's not a sustainable method when there's so many of us being vocal, and we have the the paper trail on our cell phones. We can see everything that's happened. You're not going to get away with it. Over time, there is going to be an endpoint to this, and we're on the right side here. This is 100%, Nick.
Why do you guys think they have to lie about October 7th? If October 7th was this horrible event like they say it is, why do they have to lie about it? People still say, oh, there was 1,200,000 that was murdered by Hamas. That has long since been debunked. We already know that the IDF murdered countless of their own people, firing Apache helicopters and blowing up Israeli citizens.
Yeah,
we know this, and we know that there's no evidence that there was any mass sexual violence in October 7th. I debunked that thousands of times. Like it doesn't even inherently make sense. Where you have a operation where speed is critical, where they have time checkpoints, where in an operation where you take hostages, for example, whether you like it or not, speed is critical. You got to hit checkpoints at a certain time. I forgot what the document was called, but Israel and the United States released how they spied into Hamas and their operation, and they explained how they had these checkpoints. Like if you're reading how the October 7th operation was designed by Hamas, everything was timed, and that's how you have a successful operation. So what the Zionists will have you believe in a high pressure, and another thing that's important to remember, they never tell you that. You guys know that around 400. I think maybe around 300, 400 Hamas fighters died on October 7th. You notice how they never mentioned that? Because it was an extremely dangerous operation. It was an operation that they've been training for months. A high pressure situation where you flying it with parachutes into a genocidal apartheid state. Literally one of the craziest things that humans can do, right? You are watching your comrades die. You have a high-pressure situation on you. You have Apache helicopters firing Hellfire missiles, and it's raining upon you. There is Israeli citizens who are armed, who are shooting at you. This is what happened. That's why there was a lot of Israeli citizens who was murdered, because a lot of them was shooting at Hamas agents. You had IDF storming and shooting at Hamas agents. This is why the death toll for Hamas was so high. Ask yourself why they never tell you about the Hamas death toll. Now, consider what the Zionists tell you, despite everything I just laid out. They want you to believe that Hamas took rape breaks, Apache helicopters firing down, IDF soldiers shooting at them, and Hamas was like, hey, pause, time out. Hey, let's rape these people over here real quick. And they get mowed down, they watching their friends die. Somehow they get erections despite all this going on, and they're going to take a rape break. And this is what people believe. People believe that there was a massive rape operation that Hamas carried off in October 7th, and it is the stupidest shit of all time. It doesn't even remotely make sense. So ask yourself this. Why do they have to lie to you about it? Why did I tell you guys these ridiculous stories? But, Matt, I think you're muted. If you want, I know that was a long rant. I just had to make a point. Anything you want to add?
Oh, yeah, no, that's part of the game. The game is you say the thing and then you win just by saying it. We can debunk it. We can show the evidence that it didn't happen. We can show it like clear evidence. We can also talk about the Hannibal Directive. That's also on the
yes,
table.
yes.
So we know that these things are complete lies, but they get the quote unquote win. Netanyahu gets a win because he got to say it. He got to say it on October 8th. He got everybody in tears. I remember we're here in Hollywood. We have so many Zionists here, and Zionists by association, because they're in this industry here. And they just, I remember that day very clearly, that when we found out what happened, and people are just, they're in tears. They're like, can you believe what they did? And those tears happened. That you can't erase that moment of emotional response. That's what this is about. It's about, you get that, you manufacture that consent, it's based on emotion, and then when we go ahead and show them that it's all BS from the beginning, every single thing we've debunked everything, and yet they still got to have that moment that you can't take away. They cried their tears for the 40 beheaded babies that didn't exist, but they cried the tears. So mission accomplished for Netanyahu. He's continuing to do that. He's doing that now with the aid. Oh, Hamas takes the aid. Hamas takes the aid. We try to give it to them. So it's just lie after lie after lie, but you get that emotional reaction. And I want to say one more thing about emotional reaction, because that is part of manufacturing the consent to annihilate Palestine altogether. In the parking lot that we see from the overhead views right now, it's emotion. The emotion is that we feel like if we don't do this, the babies are going to grow up to become Hamas. They're gonna kill all of us. Did you know there's 7 million, 8 million Israelis in Israel that would be killed? We feel like they're going to be killed. So everything's based on feelings. You got nothing to show from us except you have a feeling about it, and people go with feelings. That's it. So the more work we do, debunking after debunking after debunking, it's not making any sort of dent in the armor of a true Zionist that's linked their entire philosophy to feelings. That's it.
Bernie still repeats the myth that there was mass sexual violence on October 7th. Anyway, what is that other than pure racism? This is why I turned and I despised Western feminism when I seen, especially the smearing of Palestinians as sexual deviants. It's the same thing that white supremacists did during the Jim Crow era. They smeared Black Americans as sexual deviants who want to rape the white women. They smeared Native Americans as brutes who want to rape white women. If you study history, you see that these are patterns that happen consistently. This is why they want you historically ignorant. This is why they go after DEI history, woke history. They don't want you to know this stuff because they do the same stuff. Who you guys think the Nazis learn from? They smear the people they commit genocide as sexual deviants, and Western feminism enables this. So what do liberal feminists say? What do the AOCs and all these liberal feminists say? They say, oh, we got to take out Hamas because they engage in sexual violence. They legitimize genocide using feminism. The same way that they legitimize lynching Black men using feminism. Western feminism, whether you like it or not, serves genocidal violence.
Yeah. Don't forget the prison industrial complex led by by Biden in the 80s and the 90s, when he's basically creating this character, this dark, scary Black man in the alley that's going to rape your daughter, rape your mother, rape your sister. So we got to crack down. And so the prison bill that went through was based on these ideas too, Nick. And like, this is the stuff I didn't notice at the time. I didn't see it. I thought, oh yeah, we're looking out for people. No, you're playing people against each other, and you're leveraging, you're manipulating people to have, like you're saying, have these racist ideas about people, and then that's how you get people on board for whatever policy that you're endorsing or whatever bill you're putting out there, because you're taking advantage of that fear that you've created when it's completely fabricated.
Yeah, these are the same Western feminists who want to regime change Iran because they're not allowed to have OnlyFans. Like, this is what even modern Western feminists, I realize this is garbage. Like, if you want to support women, you support the liberation of the working class. You support mothers and give them paid maternity leave. You give them health care. You don't bankrupt them when they have children. You provide for them and allow them to thrive. The liberation of the working class is the most feminist methodology you can follow. Communism is the most pro-woman ideology in the world. You don't need Western garbage liberalism, which only leads to genocide. And it's crazy it took me so long to realize that. Like these are the kind of things I realized over the last few years. Yeah. This is what decolonize your mind means. This is me more talking to my audience here. Decolonize your mind, reading theory, reading history, and you realize that these ideology was placed on the working class to dumb us down and get us accepting of these genocides. And it's wow to see how successful they are. Because you see people who are otherwise smart, they're like, free Palestine, they see through everything. They're like, oh, we need regime change in Iran. Look how they treat women. They're not allowed to have OnlyFans. Like, it's stupidity. Because people don't fucking read theory, don't know history. They don't understand the dynamics of class war.